Happy Thursday and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show presented by Neutral. Keep it tasty, Tempe. Of course, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply on participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. I'm Anthony Totri, joined as always by this guy right here. That is, of course, Erik Ruby. We have the captain of this beautiful ship, Captain Redbeard, behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen. Got Austin, Coach Stark, Danny in the chat. We appreciate everybody hopping in. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. We do have a jam-packed show for everybody today. We're going to get into Arizona State, hopping in the portal, adding somebody who should be a pretty key piece to this offense in 2025. Also, you're getting some Sun Devils to continue to commit to coming back next season. We're going to get into all of that. Maybe some JUCO players being impacted by a recent ruling. And then if we have time at the end, we've got some sound from the Peach Bowl CEO and president. So we are going to get into all that at a certain point in the show. But there is some stuff. If you are on the internet, which I imagine most of you are, then you have seen the news that some folks here at PHNX are no longer here. And I wanted to, take this time to just say how grateful I personally am for the time that I got to spend with the individuals. And they have been, each and every one of them has impacted me in indescribable ways. Mm-hmm. Some going, as far back as to when this whole thing started, building the studios and doing shows and having parties at these people's houses, and they are always going to be a part of the family. But yesterday was a really, really tough day, I think, for everybody here. And I don't expect it to get, a whole lot easier super quickly. But, I think this community and the rest of the communities that we've built here at PHNX are going to be huge for a lot of people trying to get through all of that stuff. But everybody, like we said, that isn't with PHNX anymore, they will always be PHNX.
They built this place. As somebody who did not, as somebody who came in a little bit over a year ago and had to be assimilated into everything and get to know everybody in dynamics, yesterday sucked. I consider these people my friends, people I'm very close to, and I can't even imagine times that by 3 start this thing. It sucks, and I feel the same way about them. I'm going to miss every single one on a personal level, on a professional level, some very talented people who brought incredible things, not only to specifically this company, but the Arizona community and the state. They deserve all the flowers in the world, and you better believe that whatever they do next, I will be on the sidelines cheering for them.
Absolutely.
Because they're the same people who have been cheering us on and supporting us. And got to address it. Got to talk about it. It's not fun, but we love those guys. Yeah. We love all of them. And we feel for them. But you're right. This is a community. We are going to get through this together. It's important that we get through this together. I'm grateful to have such a strong Arizona State community. And I think at this point, it's not about, ignoring. You can't ignore it. Right. But appreciating it and accepting it and making sure that we do our best to help people get through this, which is, by continuing to build that community.
100%. Kyle, did you have anything? It's fine if you don't, but I want to make sure that you have that opportunity.
Yeah, I'm a man of few words, but you get to know everyone here. Everyone here is basically like a family. So just to see people go is really tough, and yesterday was a tough day. And for everyone that is here, we're gonna get through it. We've always been strong. From everything that I've observed, being here almost a year, being an intern and then a full-time employee. Yeah, there's no way around it. It was a sad day, and yeah.
And there's not a there's not a perfect pathway for us to kind of navigate this, and we are going to obviously continue to do our best and do what we can. And there's not a perfect segue to get back into the show, but we do have to do that. I know there's a lot of Arizona State folks here, really, really excited about where this team is at in the college football playoff, and then obviously what this roster is already starting to look like in 2025. And it got bigger, and it got better
in a big way,
in a
very big way.
Kenny Dillingham and company getting a commitment over social media last night. I'm not sure if you guys saw the initial commitment, but Fresno State transfer wide receiver Jalen Moss committing to Arizona State, joins Clemson transfer wide receiver Noble Johnson as a transfer wideout coming to Tempe. We talked a little bit about Jalen Moss when there was initial news that Arizona State was in play.
We talked yesterday.
Yeah, and this kid, again, I've had the pleasure of watching some of the film. If you're an Arizona State fan, which I imagine most of you are, you saw this kid. You saw Jalen Moss come to Tempe last year. And he did some things, and it's really what he's been doing at Fresno State for the last 2 seasons. He's pretty much been Fresno State's second or first best receiver the 2 seasons that he's been there. Over 100 career catches at Fresno State in those 2 seasons, 706 receiving yards last year, 563 this season, combined 10 touchdowns over that 2 years. For me, the big number that kind of stands out is the fact that this kid over both seasons averaged over 10 yards a reception. We watched him film. He's got a great release. He's got really, really sure hands, which for me is obviously something that you love to see in a wide receiver 2, potentially a wide receiver 3 in Jalen Moss. And he's a little bit bigger, right? He is 6'1". I know that's not a giant wide receiver, but the bigger you get on the perimeter, the more challenging it is for opposing defenses, opposing corners to really try and line up against some of those bigger wide receivers. And that's who this guy is. Jalen Moss is going to be a key piece to Arizona State next season.
Absolutely. You also have to imagine what putting him in this wide receiver room and potentially even adding another weapon, maybe even another weapon at tight end, will do to open up his game. Like you mentioned, average yards per reception already in the double digits. I wouldn't be surprised if that goes even higher.
Yeah.
Right. I think about a team like BYU has a lot of receiving options and receiving weapons. They had multiple players averaging I think 14 or above yards per reception. And I feel like a combination of Jalen Moss and Jordan Tyson are very much able to slot into that and do it consistently as well. He's going to open up a lot for this offense. This offense is going to open up a lot for him. I love what we've done outside of Jordan, especially since Jordan has gone down in this wide receiver room, but it was no secret that you were going to need reinforcements next year. This is good reinforcements. And you also have to take into account that when Kenny goes out and says we're going to be very selective as to who we bring in, when you bring in somebody, you can't help but get excited for improvement as well, because we've seen countless people come here and improve. And pairing him with a redshirt sophomore Sam Levitt seems like a pretty scary combination.
Yeah, not to mention, again, you're going to have Jordan Tyson. You have Shimon Mater. You have Noble Johnson. And
you hope to return Malik McClain.
You hope to return Malik McClain. This is a team that will probably add a running back in the portal. So there's excitement there.
And there's still excitement around Kyson. Kyson is able to catch as well. Kyson's able to kind of sneak out in the backfield.
Raleek Brown next season.
Raleek Brown hopefully is going to be more implemented and healthy as well. A bevy of offensive options, and I wouldn't be shocked. And like you said, if they add somebody else, if not two or more people. You also have Jaden Fortier hopefully coming back in that tight end room. AJ Ia, who's going to be a freshman, who's really, really good as well. I'm not even sure how much we're going to see of AJ Ia just because of the status of this program. I think now what Arizona State is trying to achieve is you stick with me here, but you look at a team like Prime Bama, right? Where you would get, stick with me here.
I'm sticking with you. I'm sticking with you.
Stick with me here. You get a team like Prime Bama where it's like you get freshmen, and if you're a freshman that comes in, you could be extremely talented, but like your playing time is going to be very limited due to the state of the program, right?
Yeah.
And especially in a program that is kind of boasting returners and bringing people back and adding, established players in the transfer portal. I think this becomes a place where you come in, you hone your skills, you stick around, and then you get kind of plugged in. And for a guy like AJ Ia, I feel like that's probably going to be the thing for him. Maybe he redshirts, maybe he doesn't. I know we're getting a little bit too into the weeds, but with this amount
this is we business. This is a you thing.
With the amount of offensive options that are starting to stack up, that falls in line to what Kenny's trying to create long term, which is growth and investing in people and making sure they're set up. Like this is exciting, and this is another addition to that. Babe asks, who are the departures? Not many.
Yeah.
Not many departures. A few key ones, Cole Martin recently as well. I would say Cole, even though he didn't play, probably the most front-facing player who has entered the transfer portal.
Yeah, Cole Martin gone. You are going to miss Xavier Guillory, Troy O'Meara.
Right, I guess non-transfer portal departures.
Likely Jake Smith, I would imagine, is done. Obviously, Cam Skattebo in the backfield.
Done.
But there are, again, Arizona State.
Shamari.
Well, we'll get into Shamari a little later. Shamari has...
because the JUCO
there's some interesting stuff going on at the JUCO level that could impact some guys on this roster right now, just in terms of furthering their eligibility with the loss of a guy like Cole Martin and nickel.
Right.
A potential
Getting
return
Shamari
in
back
Shamari,
would be insane.
Elijah O'Neal, some of these other guys who have been rotational. Would be absolutely huge. Will in the chat, Ia, Fortier, Mateer, Tyson, Noble, Moss, Samples, Zechariah Sample, Malik McLean, Kyson Brown, Relique, Jason Brown, stacked weapons like John Wick's closet.
And possibly more as well.
More.
Including a super chat from JH, says Mark Hamper, wide receiver who played with Sam Levitt in high school, was a freshman All-American at Idaho University, just got offered by ASU, Utah, and Wisconsin in the portal. Talked about him in the Up and Down solo show that I did a couple days ago. That would be fantastic, especially considering you can kind of plug and play and have that chemistry. Yeah. We saw how good Sam was once he developed chemistry with his wide receivers throughout the season. You saw it take some time with Jordan Tyson. You saw it take some time with Xavier Guillory. Having somebody come in who kind of already understands at that level would be really dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
For an offense like this. The reality is, you're going to get to a point where there are players that you think are going to contribute on this offense, that you think are going to be like mainstays, that probably are going to end up being a little bit more complementary pieces. And that's okay, because what we saw with Xavier Guillory today is like laying the groundwork. It's picture perfect, right? Or this season, where he does the dirty work. He is not a featured member of this offense, right? I wouldn't even consider he's the top two as far as I think Shimon Mateer slotted in there as far as consistency. Yeah. But he was used. He was used. He got some touchdowns. He had some big plays when his number was called upon. And then
that's all that matters.
But then after doing all the dirty work and waiting for that moment, an injury happens, you step up and you dominate, right? You step up in that place. Yeah. I think setting that down when you look at how many weapons that this team supposedly is going to have, continuing to possibly add more, it's going to be a fun discussion, but when you have that much talent, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And I want to speak directly to Marcus Arroyo, the offensive coordinator.
Oh, Cook.
If you by any means see this, go get Zechariah Branch.
That would put it over the top.
Go get Zechariah Branch, please. Zechariah Branch, I said it the other day. This guy is a game changer. If you were to throw him in this offense, I'm not saying that Arizona State is in play here, but Zechariah Branch, from a skill set perspective, would just continue to further the mismatch hell that Arizona State's offense would be in 2025 against some of those Big 12 defenses, some of the non-con games. In a dream scenario, you have Jordan Tyson, Jalen Moss, Zechariah Sample. Zechariah Branch. Zechariah Sample, obviously, probably as a rotational guy with along with a Malik McLean, some of those other wide receivers. But I don't expect Jalen Moss to play the role that Xavier Guillory has played this role. I'm going to be honest. I think Jalen Moss can be a true number two that you see have 4 to 6 catches a game, and be that guy. When we were watching we were just watching some highlights, me and Kyle, not even like actual tape. And from what we can see, this kid is 100% the type of guy that when you go through your progressions, if you're Sam Levitt and you see Jordan Tyson, he's covered, he's not open, boom, I know where Jalen is on this field. Again, 6'1", sure hands. And that's the type of wide receiver that you are going to need to kind of fill the gap, because there is going to be a gap in this offense early on, trying to figure out how to, function without Cam Skattebo, because Cam Skattebo has been this team. He's been this offense for a good chunk of the season. And obviously, whether that be Kyson, Raleek, if they add a back in the portal, watch out for the running back, Kanye Udo at Army. There is
I didn't know that Army players were. I know this was like a conversation like a week ago when it happened. I didn't realize that you could transfer out of Army.
He's got over 1,100 rushing yards on less than 180 carries this season. He has been a monster. He's a bigger back, about 6 foot. So let's say you throw him in here. They've got a tight end from UCF that I know was on campus yesterday. So they're not done. If we've learned anything, Kenny is not done cooking when it comes to the transfer portal.
Aaron asked Deuce Robinson. It'd be nice. I would probably put my money on
Robinson's coming here yet.
But would be a massive addition. Would definitely slot in there. The only way that I don't see Jalen Moss being what you just described it, because I agree with you, is if you get Branch, then it's Tyson and it's Branch, and then Moss is going to be the clear number 3. I mean, you're talking about pick your poison to the max. With that would be insane. JH with the 199 super chat. Thank you, JH. Says Kenny is built for the new age of college football.
Yeah,
ain't that the truth?
It is. And Will in the chat saying Udo was basically Jason Brown that got playing time. Udo's just bigger. Jason Brown's a smaller running back. He's about 5'8". Udo is about 6 feet tall. He plays big. And a guy that, is still pretty young. I believe he'll be a junior next season. So there's a lot to like about what Arizona State's offense is looking like next year. Arizona State's defense got some good news yesterday as well. We are going to get into that. We're going to get into some potential more returners at the guys that played at the JUCO level, and so much more on the PHNX Sun Devils show. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. And before we go to break, I want everybody in the chat, if you could tell me if there is one player that has yet to announce their commitment to return to ASU next season, who do you want to see? Let me know in the chat, and we'll see you on the other side of this break.
Enjoying seeing how many people are coming back to Arizona State University. I never have to worry about Desert Financial leaving my life. They never have to announce that they're staying for another year, because they've been here for over 84 years and been in my family for multiple generations, talking grandparents, parents, and myself, which is why I love telling you about Desert Financial Credit Union, whether it's the basics, checking, savings accounts, but maybe some of the more complicated things, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and more. No matter what stage of life you're in, Desert Financial is here with financial solutions tailored to helping you, a real person, achieve their financial goals and dreams. Plus, if you're an Arizona sports fan, there's no better place to do your banking, including, of course, with 3 of their different Visa-branded Arizona State University debit cards as well. Rock your maroon and gold, rock your team spirit, and get a little cash back for doing so. Now's the time to show your ASU team spirit. Open a free checking account online, get $200 plus your choice of 3 ASU Visa debit cards. Go to desertfinancial.com/ASU to get that $200.
Look, Arizona State set to play in the Peach Bowl, but that is, of course, not the only bowl game going on. Downtown Phoenix is going to be hopping and popping around the holidays. Get ready to huddle up at Chase Field for college football postseason action as the Rate Bowl kicks off on December 26th at 3:30 in the afternoon. You've got the Kansas State Wildcats are set to take on the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. That is going to be a perfect way after the holiday. Go watch some college football. Go watch a bowl game over at Chase Field. It's also the only bowl game featuring a matchup between Big 10 and Big 12 teams. Of course, we know 2 of the toughest football conferences in the country. It is certainly going to be one heck of an environment over at Chase Field. Make sure you go get your tickets. It is going to be one heck of a party. Game tickets, premium experiences, and reserved parking are all available. Get yours now at ratebowl.com. Guys, do a solid. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're subscribed to PHNX Sports. Couple people in the chat answering that question we posed. Jet Tice saying he wants Jordan Tyson to return. I think all Arizona State fans would love Jordan Tyson to come back. Ben wanting Canyon Floyd I'm here for it. Little punter love there. And then Will in the chat, CJ Fight and Jacob Kangaika need to beef up that position, and both are massive in that position moving forward. I've been pretty adamant about this for a while. He hasn't officially announced it, but I'm very confident that CJ Fight will be back. CJ Fight is a Sun Devil through and through. But
it feels like after what Kangaika did against U of A,
he's been great all year.
Not playing well. Yeah, he's been great all year.
You're talking about
I'm talking about planting the pitchfork. Kind of feels like that's our guy.
I mean, I'm here.
You're not allowed to leave,
I'm
Jacob.
You're not allowed to.
You're not allowed to.
Nah, stay home.
Stay here.
Stay here. Just like Clayton Smith is. Clayton Smith posted this on Twitter just last night, not too long after Jalen Moss had announced his commitment. Clayton Smith tweeting his announcement that he would be coming back to Arizona State next season. He is the 6th starter on the defensive side of the ball that has already announced that they would be returning. Count these out for me here, Eric.
Okay.
You've got Clayton Smith. 1. Keyshawn Elliott.
2.
Zyrus Fiaseu.
3.
You have
Javen
Robinson
4.
and Justin Watley.
5.
I think there's one more.
Zach Swanson.
Oh, yeah. Zach
6.
Swanson's another one. He's not a starter.
No, but I mean, played.
I think there might be another one. Miles Rouser.
Miles Rouser.
I'm forgetting Miles Rouser.
Okay, 7.
Yeah, so you're getting a good chunk of these starters and rotational pieces to potentially come back.
Mm-hmm.
Massive to get Clayton Smith guy. This will now be his 3rd season at Arizona State.
Yeah.
A rare thing in college football.
Definitely. And what is going on right now is setting the precedent for what should be happening moving forward, right? We had the super chat from JH talking about Kenny's built for modern college ball. And part of that is finding a way to buck the trend of swapping out your entire roster year in and year out. I mean, you saw it last year. Georgia lost a bunch of their roster and brought a bunch of new people in. Like, really good teams are doing this.
Everybody loses players.
And everybody's going to lose players. Arizona State has and will lose players and will always lose some players, right? But if you're able to maintain a core of people who are not only coming back for 2 years, but 3 years and want to be here, when you get those freshmen, when you get the people who find a home here and they see that example, like, you can't act like it's not more likely for them to follow in that lead. Yeah. Right? The same way where it's like we saw the journey of Cam Skattebo go from 0 stars, no offers, to playing at Sac State, to being at Arizona State University, being on a bad team, and then eventually like reaching getting the Heisman. Like, you can now go to a player who you believe in a similar position as Scat and say, look what happened. Look at the facts. Same thing with Sam Levitt. Look at what happened when Sam Levitt came here. Same thing with Jordan Tyson. Look what happened when Jordan Tyson comes here and is injured.
Yeah.
Right? Has to sit out a season. Right? Xavier Alford, when he gets here and can't play for a season, right? Like, how you handle those things is now when you go to people who are in similar and unique situations, you can point at legitimate on-field, provable, tangible success and say, this is what we can do for you. And the same way that you look at a player like Clayton Smith and say, look at what Clayton did here over a couple years. What about Keyshawn Elliott transferring here and staying for another year? He is somebody who has the potential to play in the NFL. If he has a great second season here and propels himself into a better draft stock, that's a stick around and go to the NFL type model. Like, you're no longer promising a dream or an idea. You're showing a realistic option for these kids. And having all these players return after a successful season does send a message to those who are coming in either as freshmen or as transfers for next season.
Yeah, and it sets the precedent of, hey, we're not just a school that's going to pick you up so you can play a year and go. You're here. This is a school that wants to make you a better person, and I know that's a cheesy pitch, but they also want to develop you as a football player. And I think if there's one thing that you've seen from Arizona State that has gotten them to this point is the development of key players, right? From the start of spring ball to where we're at now, prepping for a game in January in the Peach Bowl in the college football playoff, right? Sam Levitt is a completely different quarterback. He's a completely different player and leader than he was when he first arrived. Jordan Tyson is a completely different wide receiver than when he first arrived. Cam Skattebo is a completely different player than when he first arrived. And that is just a couple guys on the offensive side of the ball. It's not even necessarily looking at, some of the guys in the trenches. And Will brings up a really, really good question. Are we losing both Shamari Simmons and Xavier Alford to graduating, or did one of them announce that they're coming back? I forget. So neither one of them has announced to come back yet. Xavier Alford technically can come back He does have 1 year left of eligibility because of the situation that occurred last year. Shamari is in a little bit of a different situation. Shamari, to my knowledge, is officially out of eligibility after this season. However, there is a new ruling that could completely change college football once again,
dude,
Mr. Ruby. So
what is this? Every day for the last 3 years?
This went out yesterday. So Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Pavia's motion for a preliminary injunction that would allow him to play in 2025 has been granted. So the court ruling, Pavia was a JUCO player at a certain point, not counting that against his eligibility. As it stands right now, as you know, players that have used JUCO, have spent years at the JUCO level, that counts toward your eligibility at this level, right? Eligibility is kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? It's a straight line when it comes to this type of stuff. There's not really any gray area when it comes to JUCO, to D1, to D2, whatever. It doesn't really matter. However, this ruling has now kind of set precedent for players that were previously at the JUCO level to be granted extra years based off of how many seasons they spent at the JUCO level. So if you spent 2 seasons at the JUCO level, it wouldn't count toward your eligibility at the Division I level, which could impact a number of guys on Arizona State's roster, including Shamari Simmons. It could impact Elijah O'Neal, Kyle Scott, Mad Max, the starting right tackle for your Arizona State Sun Devils. That would be massive in potentially returning some key guys. Elijah O'Neal, obviously a rotational piece at defensive end. Shamari
Talking
Simmons.
about Shamari Simmons.
You're
You can get
starting
Shamari
nickel.
Simmons back next year.
You're starting right tackle in Max.
Yeah.
Right?
If you can get 2 starters and a key rotational piece, Donald's favorite player, Elijah O'Neal, that would be massive for a team that's already bringing back key people in similar positions. I know that Javen didn't play nickel, but we're talking about secondary and whatnot. And of course, talk about Ben Coleman, who's coming back next year as well. If you're able to continue to add to that, we talked about specifically with the defense, how gelled they seemed like they were going into this season.
Yeah.
If you continue to have that continuity through an offseason, another offseason of work under this training staff, it's interesting. The thing is this blanket for everybody, right? Or is it a situation thing? Like if Shamari goes and say, I want to do this, like, are they, because sometimes they're just so weird, right? Sometimes these rules, like you mentioned, it's a straight line, but sometimes it's like, hey, this makes sense that this person would be able to play. And they're like, denied.
Well, what's interesting here is this is like the NCAA didn't say this. This is, this is the courts
That's fair.
that said this. If this is something that does in fact set a new rule in place, college football would wildly change. Because I think at that point you would start to see schools, Division I schools, start to go away from high school talent, and you'd see a lot more high school talent go the JUCO route to develop for a year or two. You would pretty much have baseball's farm system at this point.
And do you hate that?
I hate it for
it's changed.
It's changed. I hate it more for the JUCO programs in schools. Because at that point, you're losing your whole roster.
Here's Professor Spinzer. First of all, you're not going to lose your whole roster. No, they're not.
JUCOs would.
No,
JUCOs would.
No.
If you're telling me there are schools now, it doesn't matter who they are, you could spend 2 years at a JUCO, not lose any eligibility. Any Division I school calls, you're taking that call.
I agree. But what I'm saying is,
as a freshman.
There are some players. There are some players who would not have gone to JUCO and would have tried to get D1 offers and sit on the bench somewhere instead of going and playing for your school.
I mean, maybe.
There's kind of levels to it where, there would be a lot of turnover, right? But there's a lot of turnover in D1 as well. You would probably get a massive influx of younger talent and people willing to go to your school, even if it's under the understanding of you might be here for 2 years. But the reality is, it's not like D1 schools are lining up to pick off an entire JUCO roster. It's going to still be for a select percentage of those guys, right? And a select percentage of players who go to JUCO, play for 2 years, stand out, and then go to the D1 level would not like completely milk their roster dry, right? It would definitely take some getting used to, but I could see a world where it's beneficial for JUCO programs, more interest from D1 schools, more scouts there, more people with more eyes, meaning more commitments, more players, better programs, better games, more money. Like, I think that could all pile up. I'm not saying that what you're saying is like out of the question, but I do think there's like another cheerier side to this that could end up being beneficial for both sides.
Yeah. So you'd spend 2 years at a JUCO, and then at that point, it wouldn't count toward your eligibility. You could go to the D1 level and be seen as a true freshman, which would be... It would be something.
It would definitely be a change. It might be bad. I'd have to see it in practice first before I really am like, oh yeah, this is totally going to be bad or good. That's one of those gray area things that you probably can't make a ruling on until you see it in effect for a couple of years.
Maybe. We've seen the NCAA decide to make other decisions with less information.
No, I'm not saying that they're not going to make the decision. I'm saying for us to have a well-formulated opinion, like I could sit here and say, I see the bright side on it. It might happen in 2 years from now. It might completely screw over the JUCO level. I think that's completely possible. 2 years from now, it might enhance the JUCO level. So we'll see.
Right now, my opinion is go for it, because it would mean Shamari Simmons is back along with some other players next season, which having Shamari right after you lose Cole Martin, who is probably going to be your starting nickel, if you didn't add in the portal another corner, that would be crucial to be able to bring him. And then we're talking about a good chunk of the secondary coming back, right? But I'm going to be shocked if Xavier Alford doesn't come back. If he stays at college. If he stays at college, he could also go pro.
Especially depending on how he plays over the next game plus.
Yeah.
There's a chance that he solidifies an NFL spot, and at that point, you're taking.
And the last thing that I'll say about the JUCO level thing is not only does it impact all the JUCO stuff, but for me, it really does further push college athletics away from at heart what it would be. Because imagine spending, how old are you when you go to college?
18.
You're 18. Imagine going to a JUCO for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then you transfer to a D1 program. You are, let's say you're 20 years old, and you could still have 4 potential 5 years of your grad student. Yeah, but we have 27
and 28-year-olds playing right now.
You don't have nearly as many 27 or 28-year-olds as you think you have.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is you've already wandered down that path, right?
But not to this extent.
No,
this would be clear across the line. You would have guys at 25 years old as a senior.
Sure.
Depending on which side of the year they fall on.
We're already there. I've already screamed to get a job.
Cam Rising might have listened. Alan Bowman listened.
Alan Bowman did listen. Alan Bowman's a huge PHNX Sun Devils fan.
Is that what he is?
Huge.
He told you that?
I mean, he DM'd me and said, thank you for sending me the link to that job application site. I checked that out, and now I'm starting at an insurance firm next week.
Good for him. Good for that guy. We really love to see Alan Bowman, the Pirate. I know he applied to be on Captain Redbeard's ship. But
we just didn't have enough room for him.
No. It's better luck next time. You needed to show a little bit more, I think.
Maybe he could have been Alan Roman and helped us row.
Only one ginger allowed.
Love that. Man, a few words. Only one ginger allowed on this ship. Look, we also have another really, really promising update for Arizona State fans, how this impacts the NIL collective and potential future Arizona State Sun Devils. This is a big moment that occurred last night. We're going to get into all that. But I have to take the role here of the hall monitor here. We do have to kick it to a quick break. As you can see, Sparky here, big fan of the neutrals. And I mean, why wouldn't you be, right? Keep it tasty, Tempe. This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. And I'm going to be honest, the way I've been honest with you guys ever since we've been talking about neutrals. I am not somebody that loves seltzers, right? I'm just not. Too bubbly for me. However, neutrals don't taste anything to me like a normal seltzer. They are the farthest thing from normal. They're the farthest thing from ordinary. They're extraordinary because they have found a way to perfectly balance flavor and carbonation into this little can here that does indeed pack a punch. It's made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. They've got a variety of flavors, including pineapple, watermelon, black cherry, orange, and more. I know this guy right here, he's a big fan of the strawberry lemonade.
You know me so well.
I'm a cran apple guy. That's just who I am at my roots. Neutral. Keep it tasty. Enjoy responsibly. 2024 Anheuser-Busch Neutral Flavored Vodka and Carbonation, St. Louis, Missouri.
You really are the epitome of a cranberry apple neutral. You know what I'm the epitome of? Me.
You are you.
Me. And I do me at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, because quite frankly, nobody does you better than you, and nobody does it better than Gila River Resorts Casinos. Oh, but what's it? It is having an incredible, diverse 4 locations: Wild Horse Pass, Lone Butte, Vequiva, Santan Mountain, having live table games, slots, sports books, dining, staycations, poolside, restaurants. Nobody does it better than Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Plus, we will be doing a watch party at Wild Horse Pass starting at 10 a.m. on January 1st. Come on. Hang out with your boy. Me and Captain Redbeard will be there while this man is in Georgia. Also, there's an Arizona Cardinals game day VIP experience. You can check all of that out over at playathila.com/Cardinals. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathila.com for more details.
Stephen Joseph commenting in the chat. Are we sure Tyson is coming back as a redshirt sophomore? He is eligible for the draft, right? I don't believe he is going to the NFL draft.
The only reason that he wouldn't be here, I think, is if he transfer somebody.
Yeah, if he got a bag. Somebody, I think it was Short Bus, thought that Dilly had tweeted out something with Sam and him coming back. He did.
And then deleted it.
Yeah, that tweet was up for a very short period of time. I imagine he didn't want to make that announcement for them. I do imagine Jordan Tyson and Sam Levitt will be back next year, despite not having officially committed to returning. I do believe those guys will be in a Sun Devil uniform next year, but you never know. In today's current world, era, man. But the news yesterday certainly does help, I would say, right? So if you live under a rock, or if you are not huge on social media.
Oh boy, 3 a.m.
Unplugged Doug tweeted this out last night saying, breaking ASU news, he stepped up once again. Mega booster Nap Lawrence is so thrilled with the Big 12 Conference Championship. He's donating $500,000 toward 2025 NIL. This guy is already one of the giant boosters for Arizona State. I believe Knapp is the one that donated $1 million when Dilly was first hired, announced it at his press conference. $500,000 goes a long way.
It's not a small chunk of change.
Short Bus bringing it up. Did you see all the guys getting cars yesterday? Yes, a bunch of Arizona State players working alongside Arizona State. Arizona State doing the best they can to try and really help these guys up. So you get some cars, you get some more money in that NIL pot. You're playing for a college football playoff. There's a lot to really, really like in terms of being a prospective ASU football player. And this addition to the NIL fund, $500,000, is going to be massive in being able to get guys to come back. Yeah,
this community is really coming together.
It is.
It's beautiful. I know that it might just kind of feel like it's falling on deaf ears now, but the Valley really is activated. Not to be like that guy.
Activate that, bro.
Not to be that guy, but it definitely feels like things are all heading in the right direction. There are people, companies, boosters, fans, all coming out and supporting the team at events.
Why wouldn't you, bro?
Yeah, why? Again, like it is definitely fun. Because now you're starting to say, and one of the things that we were handcuffed with before was like, man, we just don't have the money to get that guy. We just don't have the money to get that guy. Arizona State is now in play because you already had to pitch everything besides money to people, and you got some. I mean, think about Arizona State basketball, right? Think about getting Quaintance and Sannon and whatnot before you're really able to get
them dogs.
Right, like you're able to do that with the resources you have now, and if you continue to increase your resources and win, it's going to be hard not to get good players. It's going to be hard not to retain good players.
And people want to play for Kenny.
Because people want to play for Kenny. People want to play in Tempe, whatever sport it is. People want to come here. Like, this is a very desirable place to be.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the Big 12 Coach of the Year. You've got the Big 12 champions. You have the
I'm not even talking about the team.
You have, just talk about the coaching staff. The coaching staff is loaded with talent, right? Yeah. Marcus Arroyo at OC, Brian Ward at defensive coordinator, obviously AJ Cooper at that linebacker spot. Of course, you have a Super Bowl MVP in Hines Ward as your wide receivers coach. Sean Aguano churns out NFL running backs every single year like it's nothing. This is a really, really talented coaching staff. It's all starting to fall together. I do want to put a poll in the chat, and I'm going to ask Erik this question too. Make sure you hit that like button. The $500,000. We're going to play a little game. Okay. You can only have one.
Okay.
Zechariah Branch.
Okay.
Or Koa Pete.
Koa Pete.
Koa Pete.
Koa Pete.
A 5-star basketball player in the state of Arizona.
Koa Pete.
You're taking Koa without even questioning it.
I knew where you were going at my answer before it was done.
We're putting that poll in the chat.
Arizona State men's basketball needs Koa Pete more than Arizona State football needs Zechariah.
Are you sure this is
Branch.
not? You got to. This feels like your basketball bias coming in,
dude. I love this football team,
but you don't love it as much as I do.
Koa Pete.
Just say you hate
Koa
football.
Pete. Stop.
Koa Pete.
No. Come here. I got a question for you, Deli Man.
Koa Pete could be a top 3 pick in the NBA draft.
Okay.
Hi, Deli Man.
Did you see Nap Lawrence? You see what Big Daddy Nap did?
500 big ones.
Smackaroonies. So, would you rather have with this 500 smackaroons?
I'd rather have $500,000.
Okay, that's not an option here.
Okay.
Koa Pete or Zechariah Branch?
I think Koa Pete.
Yeah,
and you're gonna say it's not close.
No, I don't
I think your football bias is showing a little bit.
Absolutely.
I don't think that it's not close.
I would love both.
Well, one is a program alterer on a program that's already being altered, and one is an impact player on one side of the ball.
Yeah, it could be two. You could play special teams.
All right.
That's a third side of the ball.
No, there's only two sides of the ball.
No, there's what's the middle? That's a third side. Loser.
That's not.
Yeah, it is.
Just kiss already.
It literally New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Totri
and I are gonna smooch on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
For $500K. Nap.
What have we become? Thanks for hopping on, Deli Man, and totally ruining the set. I appreciate that. Let's see. Make sure you vote in that poll. Let us know. Whoa.
I'm gonna vote in the poll.
This is mean,
That's
man.
Kind of crazy.
Didn't
honestly.
need that. Didn't need that right now.
I'm gonna vote for Zechariah Branch.
You're gonna vote for Zechariah Branch?
I'm
I
voting
voted for
Koa
Zechariah
Pete.
Branch.
I'm sure you did.
Short bus in the chat. Shane is 100% right. Can't believe I typed that.
Yeah, me either.
Will in the chat. There are no sides. They're round. Is a football round? It's not round.
Ish.
It's not roundish.
It's round with a rounded pointed edge.
Round. It's not round at all.
Okay. All right.
I'm
calm
gonna look
down.
it up. I'm looking it up.
Football's not round at all.
No, round is a circle. Is a football round? God, Google's gonna think I'm stupid.
I think you're stupid.
Ooh, did you know that
Come
originally pig bladders were used?
Yeah. He just said a football is not round.
Football's not round. It's not round.
It's not a ball like a basketball.
Oval. It's oval.
It's not round.
It's round.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Round is a circle, my guy.
Round is not just
Let
a
me
circle.
read the definition of round. Hold on.
It's round, not circular. That's what Will said. This is
No.
why people are here.
No, it's oval shaped. It's
An
oblong.
oval's round.
Shaped like a circle or a cylinder.
A football is
a
neither.
ci-
No, it's
Stop.
not. No, it's not.
You can't say it's shaped like an oval and say it's not round.
Does
An
this look like a
oval
football
is
to you,
round.
idiot?
An
No.
oval is round, idiot.
No, it's not. New poll in the chat.
Oh my god.
Is a football round? Yes or no?
Oh my gosh.
Rudy.
A football is not a cylinder. It is a prolate spheroid.
Sphere.
No.
A sphere is round.
It's
It's
not-
spherical.
It's
Get it?
not,
Anybody
it's
get that
not,
one?
It's not
No?
yeah, Drake and Josh. It's
Yeah.
not a sphere. It's a spheroid.
So it's not round.
It's
I need a
round.
yes or no answer.
It is round.
It has a.
It
It's rounded.
is round. It is
I
rounded.
don't know if it's round.
It's not really
It's not a
rounded
circle.
though.
It's,
Yes,
oh
it
my
is.
It's got two pointy
God.
ends.
It's round. It goes around.
This is like when I
It goes
lost
around
my
and
mind
around.
when it was about the chicken breakfast thing.
Huh?
This is like when I lost my mind about the chicken breakfast thing with you.
Well, yeah, you had a
You just
silly
don't get
answer.
it. You just don't get
You
it.
just didn't understand the
You just don't
question,
get it.
man. What do you think, Captain Redbeard? Whatever you say goes. You're the captain.
I voted yes.
Is that really a poll we put in the
Yes.
chat?
Pinch
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ends of a cylinder. What you get is a football.
I just want
Yes.
to. Koa Pete won that poll before that.
Wow, we're split
That's not
here.
the important. It's not the important
That
one
poll
anymore.
was split when I just looked at it.
Well,
No, the round poll.
Who? What do you think, Kyle?
I
No,
I don't think it's
stand on
round.
it.
It's not round.
Wow.
It's not round. Yeah,
It's not a-
rounded by
it's not a
endless.
Go give me a football. Can you give me a football real
It's not
quick?
a circle.
It's not a circle.
A
No.
round doesn't mean circle. If it's a rounded edge, it's just smooth and rounded.
It's not a bowl.
Oh my God.
It's not the Peach Bowl.
Anybody get that one?
Peach Bowl is round.
If anybody in the chat gets that reference, I'll send you a diehard. No, I won't. I'll send you a shirt.
Wow.
How's that sound?
What did he say?
The balls are mostly
It's not a
round.
bowl.
Let me know in the chat. Let me know what you think. Is a football round? Is it not round? Hit that like button.
I'm surrounded by idiots.
Surrounded. See what you did? That was good. That was a good one. Any other thoughts on
No, I'm
Big
done.
Daddy Nap?
I'm done.
No?
I'm done.
500K to the NIL collective is...
Your brain is round.
It literally is.
Just smooth.
It literally is
Just smooth.
circular.
It's not a circle, though, so it's not round, according to you.
Eric's winning right now.
Yeah, you're damn right. Because I have common sense.
Find nothing. It's, sometimes you got to break the
I won the
matrix.
Koa Pete one, and I'm winning this one. Put my number in the rafters.
For
Hang it
what?
behind you.
For what? What
For
does it
being
say?
right in this episode specifically.
Oh, God. Short bus. I'm a Ruby idiot. Love it. Those are a lot of words.
I
Those are a
don't
lot
know
of
what it means
words
by that.
all there together. Look, we do have some fun sound from the Peach Bowl CEO that we are going to get to. I pinky promise all of you that we are going to get to that. But again, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We also have a watch along and a post game show on Saturday for Texas and Clemson. Watch along from kickoff all the way to the end of the game. And then, of course, an hour-long post-game show really setting the scene for you guys. You'll know who your Arizona State opponent is going to be in that Peach Bowl. Make sure you are subscribed to PHNX Sports. Make sure you're there while we are live. It's going to be a ton of fun. Also, if you're not making it out to Georgia for the Peach Bowl, Erik, we got something going on.
Yeah, I said it a little bit earlier, but I'm going to remind the folks we have a watch party going on January 1st at Gila River Resorts and Casinos Wild Horse Pass. First round of neutrals is on us. Come hang out.
How much does it cost?
Free?
It's free?
All you have to do is RSVP, go phnx.com/events, RSVP to make sure that you are there because we are going to have a certain limit because we almost ran out of space last time.
Oof.
So if you want to go,
Come
make sure
party,
you
man.
claim your stakes. Come hang out, 10 o'clock, come through. We're going to be doing a pregame show live from there. For diehards, I'm going to do a watch along for everybody. But if any diehard is there, get a couple minutes on the watch along with your boy watching Arizona State take on either Clemson or Texas. William in the chat says he'll be there. I know
Short Bus is going to be there as
He's
well.
going to do his best to get
I believe
there.
Ben, who's
Short
a
Bus has
diehard,
hedged
is
his
also
bets a
going to
little
be in
bit.
there.
He's hedged his bets a little bit.
Let's make this the best place to be to watch the Peach Bowl.
Well, we don't have to make it. It will be.
I mean, that's fair.
Except
That's fair.
for being at the Peach Bowl, which is where you'll be.
Yeah, I won't be there, unfortunately. I'll be at the game, but it is what it is.
Yeah. You know what I'm excited for? I get to cheer.
You get to cheer.
I get to lose my mind when we win. You have to sit
When
there.
we
You
win.
have to sit there like a proper little press boy. Just
Proper little press boy.
sitting in the press box. I'm unbiased.
I feel like nothing, if you were to look at me, I think proper little press boy, or you wouldn't use any of those
I want to
words.
start calling you proper little press boy. I think that's really funny.
We're going to get to the Peach Bowl sound. Stick around. We'll be back after this break. Look, there
Okay.
is a bowl game going down at State Farm Stadium.
Is there?
There is. And it is the Fiesta Bowl. Viva the fans. Viva New Year's Eve. And of course, viva a new era of college football. The Verbo Fiesta Bowl is going to host the first playoff quarterfinal in history. That means the road to the college football national championship goes through the Fiesta Bowl. Ladies and gentlemen, on December 31st at 5:30 p.m., you get the chance to see number 3 seed Boise State take on the winner of SMU and Penn State. Come early for the New Year's Eve Fiesta that starts at 2:30 p.m. with the Fan Fest pregame party. It's a block party leading into the big game. Band performances, cheerleaders, fun games, food, beverages, and so much more. It is going to be an absolute blast. Definitely take advantage of having a college football playoff quarterfinal game in the state here. Go get your tickets. Join them for the first ever college football playoff quarterfinal at the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. Buy your tickets, reserve parking, and premium experiences at fiestabowl.org/tickets. And of course, Viva Fiesta.
And of course, it's an event, right? And events kind kind of go on for more than one day, especially something as big as the Fiesta Bowl. And that is why, because it's a new era in the Valley of the Sun, as we merge tradition and history with innovation, pageantry, it's time, of course, for the 53rd annual Verbo Fiesta Bowl Parade, presented by Lerner and Rowe. The best part about all this event is free to the public, and of course, it is family friendly as well. On December 28th, all the colorful floats, balloons, community groups, and marching bands will march through Central Phoenix. And if you can't make it in person, it will be live on AZ Family 3 TV. You'll see big name, big play Grand Marshal, ASU and Mesa wrestling champion Anthony Robles, subject of the upcoming movie Unstoppable. Join us in person on Saturday, December 28th at 10 a.m. or watch it all happen live at AZ Family 3 TV for the parade route. And more information, check fiestabowl.org/parade. No better way to celebrate, even if your Sun Devils aren't there, than going to the Fiesta Bowl Parade, being a part of some tradition.
That's facts. That is absolute facts. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. And me and this doofus over here have done a lot of talking.
We're going to fight
over the last 50 minutes.
It's
Doofus
round.
is such a good word.
It is.
It is such a good word.
It takes one to know one. Isn't that like the worst comeback
It
ever?
is. It's literally not even a comeback.
Hey, you're an idiot.
It literally
Takes
is
one
like
to know one.
it's like I'm so dumb that I couldn't even come up with a comeback. You
Yeah.
know, that's literally what
That's
that
why
is.
I said it takes one to know one.
But
It's-
look,
you're
me-
not denying that you're a doofus.
I called you a doofus.
No, I'm saying if you say that, like it takes one to know one, it means like we are doofuses together, doofusized together.
Who's dumber,
Oh,
Kyle?
come on.
I'm not partaking in that.
Whenever we ask Kyle to pick sides, it's like a kid in a divorce.
Do you want to make that a poll?
Who's smarter?
Who's dumber?
Who's dumber?
Who's dumber?
Sure.
Screw it. Let's do it. Who's dumber, me or Erik Ruby? I think that is by far the best poll that we have ever
It's
put
close.
in the chat at any
I
point.
think together we share like 4 brain cells. And all of them are ASU related things.
I feel like, yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that is absolutely
We've
fair.
done some damage to our brains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to do some more. 100% more. Look,
I'm voting for myself.
make
on who
sure
is
you
dumber.
vote in
I'm
that
voting for
poll.
myself.
Who you think is dumber? Crazy poll here on a random Thursday. But I do want to kick things over, of course, to the Peach Bowl CEO and president. We have got the one and only CEO and president of the Peach Bowl, Gary Stokan. Gary, we appreciate you taking the time today to talk about Arizona State and then potentially Texas and Clemson.
Yeah, it's a great time of the year. We're heading down to Austin tomorrow to go to the Clemson Texas game, the first round of the CFP, and see who will play Arizona State in our Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl CFP quarterfinal game.
Obviously, but before we get into potential opponents, whether that be Texas or Clemson, this is the first time in 5 decades that Arizona State is going to be a part of the Peach Bowl. Just what is the historical significance of having the Sun Devils in Atlanta for this game?
Well, it's really special for us because back in 1970, our third bowl game at Bobby Dodd Stadium in Atlanta, in the old Peach Bowl, Arizona State was number 8 in the country with Frank Kush as coach. And they couldn't, at the time, get into the orange, the sugar, the rose, or the cotton. And so the Peach Bowl reached out to them, brought them to Atlanta. They played North Carolina. And it rained in the first quarter, sleeted in the second quarter, snowed in the third quarter, and iced in the fourth quarter. And Vince Dooley, who was the coach of Georgia, his brother was the head coach at North Carolina, Bill Dooley. And Vince told me he's never been so cold in his life. He had to leave his brother at halftime of the game. And Frank Kush and the Arizona State Sun Devils went on to win 48-26. But it was 80 degrees in Phoenix at that time. So the people from the Valley who were at the game said, hey, why don't we start one of these bowl games? We got nice weather. Arizona State can't get into one of the big ones. So the Peach Bowl people started to meet with the Arizona State people and the Phoenix people. And out of that, the Fiesta Bowl was created. So a unique history there. And, first time back in 50, whatever it is, 54, 55, 56 years. So we're glad to have Arizona State back. And as I told Graham and Kenny Dillingham, they don't have to worry. It'll be 72 degrees in Mercedes-Benz Stadium on game day.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Look, Arizona State has had somewhat of a magical and miraculous season so far. Obviously, picked to finish last in the Big 12, now Big 12 champions, and a spot in the college football playoff. Just what have you seen from Kenny Dillingham in this Arizona State squad that is feisty as any of them?
Well, first off, what Kenny's done to move from the Pac-12 to the Big 12 is one thing, and then to be picked last in the conference by the media and the so-called experts, and to finish first in the Big 12 championship. And Duke Levitt, the newcomer of the year, who's a transfer player. Kenny Skattebo, who started at Sacramento State to become a first-team All-American, and then Coach Aurora to be up for the Frank Broyles Assistant Coach of the Year award, and Kenny Dillingham for winning the Big 12 Coach of the Year. Just, you can't write that script. It's a remarkable story, and it's the type of thing that, watch out for Arizona State all the way through this tournament, so to speak, this CFP playoff, because they could be a very, very special team and do very, very special things here over the next month here.
You said it. This is a special team, and they're on a special run, and I know they would love nothing more than to advance with a win in the Peach Bowl, but they're still waiting to see who they are going to take on, whether that be Clemson or Texas. Just what do you think about those potential opponents for Arizona State?
Well, again, a part of the Cinderella story, right? Here's Arizona State picked to finish last, finished first, win the Big 12, and then in the first game play one of the two blue bloods, right? Clemson or Texas. And you go on and win a game like that, and then you go on to the semifinals. You'll play another blue blood probably, and so yeah, the story's not over yet. It's going to be a great quarterfinal game in a sold-out electric atmosphere in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
It's definitely going to be just a crazy, crazy time. I'm looking forward to getting over to Atlanta. I know as much as a bunch of Arizona State fans here in the Valley, just what can fans traveling for this game kind of expect?
A couple is, they'll be staying probably in the Marriott Marquis, which is a great hotel in walking distance to not only the stadium, but to a lot of the entertainment opportunities. A must-do is to go see the College Football Hall of Fame. It's very interactive AI. They'll enjoy that. They'll get an Arizona State experience, but they'll also get a immersive college football experience. Then Friday night, we've got our fan night at the aquarium, which is about 100 yards from the College Football Hall of Fame. And the pep band and the cheerleaders will be there from Arizona State. It's the world's largest aquarium. It's a must-see as well to go through the aquarium. Then on Saturday morning, we'll have our Fan Fest at the Georgia World Congress Center, which is, again, another 100 yards away from the stadium. So there'll be all kind of interactives there. Great opportunity to really get ready for the game. And so you go from FanFest right into the game, and we kick at 1:10. So it's going to be a fast and furious trip, I know, but it'll be quite enjoyable with a New Year's Eve party. I know Arizona State's throwing a New Year's Eve party in the Marriott Marquis on the 31st as well. So a quick trip, but a lot happening, and they'll have a great time.
Gary, you're in a pretty unique situation to be the CEO and president, of course, of the Peach Bowl. This is the first year with an expanded college football playoff. Obviously, you've got the matchup between Arizona State, potentially Texas, potentially Clemson on the other side there. But there are so many big-time games going down in college football over the next 2-3 weeks. Just what is your, I guess, opinion and view of this year's college football playoff?
Well, I think college football has been immensely helped with the 12-team playoff. You've seen more teams, probably 20, 25 teams still vying for the 12 teams to get into the playoff into November and early December. And we've seen attendance rise because of that in college football. We've definitely seen viewership rise on TV viewership of college football. And we're the second most favorite sport in the country. And I think this 12-team playoff in its first year is going to elevate college football. And I think even into the future as we move forward, when people start to get used to this 12-team playoff and various teams are in it, it'll just increase the love of college football throughout this country.
Gary, last couple questions and we will get you out of here. Obviously, like we said, the 12-team expanded playoff, you mentioned as fans get used to it. Any thoughts or opinions on another expansion, maybe 14, maybe 16?
Well, it's typical of Americans. We all want more ice cream, right? We like something and we want more of it. I think, there's some unintended consequences in this first iteration of anything that you do. And I think the commissioners will take a look at this year and next year because we still have one more year left in the old contracts. And then in 2026, they'll have the next iteration of what the college football playoff will be, whether that goes to 14, 16, stays at 12, whether they go to automatic qualifiers, whether conference champs get in but don't necessarily get buys. All those type of things I think they'll look at and ultimately come up with something in 2026 that, will be beneficial to all of college football.
No doubt college football fans are super excited. You've obviously got those first games kicking off Friday and Saturday of that first round of the college football playoff. You already kind of discussed what Arizona State fans can expect, but I'm going to leave this one to you. What would your message just to Arizona State fans be in such a unique position, in a unique season, and getting to play in such a unique bowl game as the Peach Bowl?
Well, number one, support your team. Whatever way you can, support your team, whether it's traveling here to Atlanta, whether it's watching it on TV, whether it's participating in buying season tickets, whether it's investing in the team in the NIL format. This team deserves a chance to grow from the baseline that they've put in and the foundation they've put in this year. And you can't do it alone. It truly takes a valley. And so the valley needs to rise up. I've used the term this week in talking to a lot of media that this is the type of team that has raised the phoenix from the ashes, from where they were 2 and 3 years ago, and they deserve your support. And I know the valley will rise up. It's a great area and very supportive. And Phoenix, support these guys because it does really take a village and it takes a valley to do it. And Kenny Dillingham, Graham Rossini, they deserve the opportunity as well as these players.
Gary Stokan, CEO and president of the Peach Bowl. We appreciate you taking the time today, Gary.
Glad to be with you. We look forward to hosting you in Atlanta and all the fans.
Yes, sir. Well said from Gary. That is going to do it for today's episode of the PHNX Sun Devils Show. Leave a like, hit that subscribe button on your way out. We will, of course, be back on Saturday for that post-game show and watch party, or watch along, I should say. So definitely make sure you are subscribed on YouTube, PHNX Sports. If you enjoyed the content, give us a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow the man to my right, Senor Rubis, at Erik Ruby. That is Erik with a K. You can follow the captain of this beautiful ship at K Coop Sports. That is, of course, Captain Redbeard. And we will see you guys on Saturday. But in the meantime, go Devils. In peace.
We all silly like the mayor.